Hello everyone, welcome to the Mercury Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I am going to continue with your same module, that is the object-oriented programming module, and the chapter number 8, that is the inheritance. In the last class we have finished with chapter number 7, that is operator overloading and the type conversion. In the last class we have covered about the type conversion, that is how to convert the type from one type to the another type, that is from class to the basic or the basic to the class. Now next chapter is your chapter number 8, that is the inheritance, how to use the inheritance, what is inheritance, what are the various advantages of inheritance, right? So let's start the chapter, let's start the topic for today's session, that is the inheritance. So what is the inheritance? If we say that this capability or my this rule or my this habit is inherit from my father, that means the generation gap, that means the inheritance that is available, that is used by the inheritance. So inheritance means the heredity or the inheritance method to use the same class with the another class. That is, one class has some features, so another class can take the same features of different class. That is, if suppose A class has different features, now class B has taken all the features which the class A supports. So every feature is supported by the different classes. That is the inheritance. So let's start the chapter with chapter number 8. As the name advice, inheritance, that is extended classing. That means extend the classes, modify the classes, begin with the classes, that is the extending the classes, right? So what is the introduction? Introduction says reusability is yet another factor or another feature of the object-oriented programming. So reusability means reuse the same code again and again like we done in the function. That is, reuse the same code again and again so that it can be used with the various program, it can be used with the various methods. So reusability is yet another important feature of object-oriented programming. It is always nice if we could reuse something that already exists rather than trying to create the same all over again. That is, it's better to use the same again and again, or the same data or the same file if it is already created. So it is better to use the already exist file rather than trying to create the same, or rather trying to create the same all over again. That is, again and again if I covering, so it's not benefit to wasted the time of a customer, wasted the time of an employee, no. But if the code is written, then the same task will be assigned to different cost. For example, the reuse of a class that has already been tested, debugged. Testing means I have tested that this class is okay. So already class that is already tested, already debugged. That means finding out the errors and use many time can save us the effort of developing and testing the same again and again. So it helps to save the timing or the effort or developing and testing the same again and again. If the same method is used, so why are we are using the same methods if that is available in the program or available with the programmer? Fortunately, C++ supports, or fortunately means strongly, C++ supports the concept of reusability. So it is one of the feature of the C++ that it supports the reusability that is done by the inheritance. That is, we can use the same class again and again. That is, if the same class means one class inherits the properties of the another class. That is a reusability. The C++ classes can be reused in several ways. Once a class has been written and tested, it can be adapted by other programmers. That is, C++ classes can be reused in many ways, in several ways. So once a class has been written, so once a class has been defined, written and tested, that is, this class is okay. So it can be adapted or it can be taken care by the many programmers, other programmer to suit their requirement. That is, if I have created one program, one class, that is the okay class, and also tested the class that this is okay. So it can be adapted by other programmers, or it can be adapted by other my colleagues, my fellow holders, to adapt the class by many programmers to suit their requirements. This is basically done by creating new classes. That is, to create the new classes, so reuse the existing ones. That is, not to waste the time, not to waste the energy, not to waste the capabilities. Simply reuse the properties of the existing one. The mechanism of deriving a new class from an old one is known as inheritance. That is the mechanism of deriving one class from another class. That is taking the features of one class to the another class, that is known as inheritance. So it is the process of deriving new class from the old one is known as the inheritance. That is also known as derivation. The old class is refers to as a base class and the new one is refers to as a derived class. The old class is referred to as or taken care as a base class that by which we can access the properties, and the new one that is newly created, that is known as the derived class. So there are two classes, one is the base class, one is the derived class, or we can also say the parent class and the subclass. So another name of base class is parent class and another name for derived class is subclass. So one is base class, one is subclass, one is parent class, one is derived class. So these two paragraphs are very important. Simply it explain what is the usage of reusability, or why reusability is one of the striking feature that is available in C++. That is, it is one of the better feature that is available, that is used to create the classes, mechanisms, usage that provides the reusability concept. So the class from which we or any class inherits the properties, take the properties, that is known as the base class, and the new class that is derived, that is known as the derived class or the subclass, right? The derived class, that is a subclass, that is the inherited class, inherits some or all of the traits from the base class. It's not mandatory that the whole content will be traced or whole content will be taken by the derived class. No, that's not mandatory, but it can inherit some or almost or any of the traits that is available in the base class. A class can also inherit properties from more than one classes. It's not mandatory that one class can take the properties of one class only. No, it can inherit, that is one class can inherit the properties from different classes from different levels. A desired class with only one base class is known as a single inheritance. So a single class or the derived class with only one base class is known as a single inheritance. And the one with several base classes is known as a multiple inheritance. So one is known as a single inheritance, that is there is only one class, that is one base class, one derived class. And when more than one base class and there is one only derived class, that is known as a multiple inheritance. On the other hand, the traits of one class may be inherited by more than one class. That is, the properties of one class can inherit the properties of another class. That is known as a hierarchical inheritance. So these different levels of inheritance will be studied in the detail. That is a hierarchical, multi-level, various directions. That is the direction of inheritance. That is inherited from. So these are the various terms that is also used in this chapter. Now this is an example. These are the various types generally. We will discuss one by one in detail. So this is A and then B. That means B is taking the properties from the A. So B is the derived class and A is the super class or the base class or the parent class. Then this is known as a single inheritance. That is, there is only single class, that is there is only single base class and there is only single derived class. That is a single inheritance. Next is multiple inheritance. That means more than one base class but there is only single derived class. This is a multiple. Hierarchical means one base class and multiple derived class. Then multi-level inheritance means B is taken as that this is a multi-level, that is at the same level there are multiple functionality. So in this example the B acts as a subclass or the derived class for the A, but also acts as a base class for the C, because C lies in between. It takes the properties of the A, generates the report, generates the output, anything that B does, that it passes the data, it inherits or it can give the data or properties to the C. So B can inherit the data from the A and the C can inherit the data from the B. Then hybrid inheritance, that is a combination of multiple inheritance, that is a combination of generally the hierarchical inheritance and the multi-level inheritance. That is one base class is divided into multiple base class subclasses, derived classes, and the different derived classes are combined into one derived class again. That is a multi-level or the hybrid inheritance. These are the various forms of inheritance, that is the types of inheritance. Now the next topic is defining the derived class, that is how to define the derived class, or what is a derived class. So a derived class can be defined by specifying its relationship with the base class in addition to its own detail. That is, a derived class can contain its own feature as well as the feature that he or she or the derived class can inherit from the base class. A derived class can be defined by specifying its relationship with the base class. That is, what type of relationship he has or it has with the base class in addition to its own detail. The general form for defining a derived class is what is the general form that is used for defining a derived class. This is the syntax for defining the derived class. There is a class, that is a keyword. There is a derived class name that is available. For example, B from the last example, that is a base derived class name. Then there is a scope resolution operator. There is a single colon that is used. Then there is a visibility mode. That means it is a public, that is a private, and the protected. And any public or the any visibility mode that is used. Then there is a base. Then there is a class name. Then there is a closing curly braces, and the closing curly braces in between there are multiple values, multiple data, multiple members of the derived class, or the multiple values or the multiple members of the derived class. So this is the structure, this is the keyword that is used in the case of the derived classes. The colon indicates that the derived class is derived from the base class name. So one is the name of the base class name, one is the name of the derived class name. And the visibility mode is the optional, and if present, that may be either public or private. So that is available in the public or private mode. And the visibility mode is optional. If present, maybe either private or public. The default visibility mode is private. In the same way, I have studied in the last class, that is the class and the object concept. In this also, if we are not giving any visibility mode, that is considered as a private. Visibility mode specify whether the features of the base class are privately derived or the publicly derived. It specifies whether it is publicly derived or the privately derived. So the colon also indicates that the derived class is derived from the base class. So this is only used for the, defining the base class, or defining that this derived class is taken the properties from the base class. The visibility mode is optional, and if present, that may be either private or public. The default visibility mode is private. That is the default mode that is available in is private. That is a visibility mode. Visibility mode specify whether the feature of the base class are privately declared or publicly declared or derived. Then this is the example that is given. There is a class that is a ABC. So derived class name is ABC. Then there is a colon that is used. Then there is a visibility mode that is a private, for example. Then there is a base class name that is a XYZ. So ABC is the name of the derived class, and XYZ is the name of the base class. This is a private declaration. Why private? Because we are especially finding out, or we especially mentioned that is a private. Then there is a XYZ. Then the members of ABC, that is whatever the member, that may be a data member function that is available in the or that is given or set as a private. Then the class will be closed, that is a semicolon and the curly braces. Then again there is a next part, that is the class ABC public XYZ. Now it is publicly accessed. Again the members of ABC. Then class ABC XYZ, that is a private declaration, that is no variable that is given, no no connection will be used, that is no visibility mode can be used, no visibility label can be used, that is no visibility label can be used, simply a class ABC then colon then XYZ. That means the ABC can retrieve the data, or XYZ can retrieve the data from ABC if they want a inheritance. Then there is a members of ABC, then again the class ABC XYZ, that is a private declaration by default or derivation by default. Then these are the four classes that is used. One is the these are three classes. One is the private declaration, that is a private derivation that is used. Then after private derivation, then there is a public declaration, that is a public derivation, and there is a private declaration by default, that is privately it is owned or privately it is used as a private data member. Right. Now, when a base class is privately inherited by a derived class, so when a base class is privately inherited by the derived class, that is in privately it is a derived class and the properties of the base class, as public members of the class have become private members of the derived class. That is whatever the public member that is used, that is available in the derived class, can become the private member of the derived class, and therefore the public members of the base class can only be accessed by the member function of a derived class. They are inaccessible to the objects of the derived class. Remember, a public member of a class can be accessed by its own object. That's why it is declared publicly using the dot operator. The result is that no member of this class is accessible to the objects of the derived class. On the other hand, when the base class is publicly inherited, so this is the paragraph that shows it is privately owned. Then on the other hand, when the base class is publicly inherited, the public members of the base class become public members of the derived. So every public member of the base class now becomes a public member of the derived class, and therefore they are accessible to the objects of the derived class. So every object can be used by publicly inherit the class or publicly fetch the classes from the base class. In both the case, the private members are not inherited, and therefore the private members of a base class will never become the members of its derived class. That is, the private member are not inherited, for example, and therefore the private members of a base class will never become the members of its derived class. In inheritance, some of the base class data elements and member functions are inherited into the derived class. We can add our own data members and thus extend the functionality of the base class. That is, it's not mandatory that every base class contain, if for example, 2 data member and the 2 member function, that is 4. So that's not enough for each and every one. So we can increase the capability, we can increase the quality, we can increase the quantity that is used to calculate the or to use the extend the capability, extend the reusability of the customer. Now, let's start with the first inheritance, that is a single inheritance. Now, what is the meaning of single inheritance? That means only one base class, one derived class. That is a single inheritance. So, one base class, one derived class, that is on another single inheritance. Let us consider a simple example to illustrate inheritance. That is a simple example to define the inheritance. Program 8.1 shows a base class B and a derived class G. So there are two classes. One is a base class, that is a D class. One is a derived class, that is a one is a base class, that is a B class. One is a derived class, that is a D class. The class B contains one private data member and the one public data member and 3 public data members. That is, it contains data members as a private data members and the one public data member and the three member functions. So there are there are five total data members that is used. That is one for the private, one for the public. The class D contains one private data member and the two private public member functions. This is a single inheritance, that is a hash include iostream.h. Then there is a using namespace std. So this is the header file that is used. Then there is a class, that is a class B, that is also used. That is the class B. That is B is the base class that is used for defining into the derived into the derived class. Then there is a int a, that is a private, that is not inherited. The private members cannot inherited by the derived class. Then there is a public, that is there is a int b, that is a public part, though it is used for the inheritance or ready for the inheritance. So one variable is not inherited, that is a, and the b is inherited because it is available in the public section. Then int b, that is defining the variable as a b, that is also a public part, that is also inherited. Then void get ab, that is the member function one is used with the get ab, that is getting the value, that is a get ab, no return type, that is a void, and no argument that is passed. Then gets a void, that is getting the values of a, that is every value that is given in the a it will shown. Then there is a void show void, that is there is no return type, there is no argument, that is a void show a void, that is the show is a function that shows each and every value that is taken by the get a or the get ab. Then there is a closing of the class, that is a closing of the curly braces, there is a termination, that is a semicolon. Now this is a publicly derived class, that is how to publicly derive the class. There is a class B, then colon, then class D, then colon, then class B. That means D is taken, or D is taking the properties of each and every properties of the B, because D is the inherit class or the base class, and B is taking or is taken as a base class. So this is class D, and then there is a colon, then there is a public B. Class D, then colon public B, that is it is publicly access the class D member, that is a B class. Then again declare one variable, that is int c, that is a private by default. Then there is a public, two more functions are available, one is a void mul void, that means there is no argument, there is no return type. Then void display void, again there is no argument, no return type. Then void mul, that is a mul is the name of the function that is used, and the return type is also void. Then void display, so one is used for the multiplying the value, another is used for displaying the value. Again there is a semicolon, closing semicolon, again there is a curly brace that is used. Now these are the two classes that is used. One is the class B, that is a base class, that is some properties of the class D is inherited by the class B, but it can also add features of their own. Then this is the closing. Now defining the class, that is how to define the get AB class, or what is the definition of get AB class. This is void B, that is a class name. Then there is a scope resolution operator. This syntax is exactly the same what we have covered to define the member function. There is a scope resolution operator, then there is a get AB void. So get AB is a function that is used, and there is a void. Then assigns the value of A and B. A is taking the value as a 5, B is taking the value as a 10. Then again int B, that is the get A function will be used, that is a get A. Then there is a return A, that means the returning the value as a. Simply return the value of A. Then void B show function. This show function is also used to show the values of A and B. This is also showing. Then there is a multiplication of the B and get A. That is, whatever the value that is used in this get A, that will be multiplied by the B, and the output will be stored in the C. Then void D display, that is also the definition. And what is the display function? That is A equals to whatever the value amount, B equals to whatever the value amount, C equals to whatever the value amount. Then there is the int main. Then there is a int main. Then there is an object that is defined, that is the class name is capital D and the object name is small d. Then there is a d dot get AB. So whenever this function will call, that is whenever there is a calling of the function, this directly moves the cursor to the get AB. That is, now A assigns a value as a 5 and the B assigns a value as a 10. Then d dot multiply, that is the mul will be used, that is a d dot multiply. Now whenever a multiply function will use, so where is the multiply function? Simply multiplies the value of B into get A. So whatever the value of get A, that is the A value, that is 5, it is multiplied by the B value, that is 10 into get A. Whatever the value get A, that is a 10 into 5 is 50. Then d dot show A, that is the showing the result, that is the show function that is used. As in C out A equals to this one, then there is scope resolution operator, then again there is a semicolon. Now d dot show function, d dot display function. Show function is also used for showing the value, and the display function is also used to display the values. Now assigns a value with the help of the object, that is a d dot B. Whatever the value in B, that contains the value as a 20. Then d dot multiply, that is the multiply function will use to multiply the content. Then d dot display, that is display the content with the help of the display function. Then it will print as it is, that is C out. Then d dot display, then there is a return 0. Now what is the output that is given below is A equals to 5 first of all, because there is a get AB function. Then A equals to 5, B equals to 10, C equals to 50. How it is 50? Because 10 into 5 is 50. Then again A equals to 2, 5, B equals to 20 right now, then C equals to 1000. Then class D is a public derivation of the base class B. This is the same of the explanation of the program, that is D is a member function, or D is a public declaration of the base class. Therefore D inherit all the properties of B and retain their visibility. That is, B is the base class, so D is the derived class. So it takes each and every responsibility, it takes each and every feature that is provided by the B, or that is contained in a B, and retains their visibility. Therefore a public member of the base class B is also the public member of the derived class. So every public member that is used, used in the base class, becomes a public member of the derived class. The private members of B cannot inherit it by D. That is, the private member, whatever the private member that contain, that cannot be inherited by the D. That is, the private data cannot be inherited. The class D in fact will have more members than what is contained at the time of declaration, because there are more members that can be added out. So that is not hard and fast rule that this is the fact that how many variables are declared. No, at the time of declaration, at the time of definition, any values can be written, any values can be defined over there. Right, so this is an example, or this is a diagram that shows how it works. This is the example shows how it works with the various quantity, how it works with the various features. So first of all, there is a class D, then there is a private section of the class D, that is the derived class, then there is a public section that is inherited from the B. So every function, every member is inherited from the B. So this diagram shows that inherited from the class B. There is a public member, every public member is same, and the new functions are also added, that is the multiply and display. This program illustrates that the objects of class D have access to all the public members of class B. That is the class D takes each and every public members of the class B. Let us look at the function, that is the show and the multiply. The show a function that is used to show the value of A, then multiply, that is showing the or multiplying the values and display the result. Although the data members A is private in B, cannot be inherited. The objects but the object of D are able to access it through an indirect or inherited member functions of B. Now let us consider the case of private declaration. If it is privately declared, what had happened? So this private access data we will taken up, but let's take a break right now, then take consider or taking into consideration what are the private member derivation or what is the private derivation in the single inheritance. So let's take a break right now. So come back from the break. Now let's start the session again. So now let's consider the case of the private declaration, that is what happened when we declare the private members, or what happened when there is a private declaration, or what is the criteria that is used for the base class that has a member that is a private part, right? This is the class A, this is the int A, that is the private part, that is int A is the private part. These are the two public part, that is a B and the get AB. Then this is also a public, this is also a public, but this is one of the private member that is used. Then class D, that is a private derivation, that is it is taken the private, that is it taken as a private part. Now int C, then there is a public, there are two member function that is available, that is a mul and the display, that is a multiply and the display function. Two functions are used for displaying the values. What are the two functions? That is a mul, that is a multiply and the display. Then there is a closing curly braces and there is a semicolon after that. The membership of the derived class D is shown in figure 8.3. In private declaration or in private derivation, the object members of the base class becomes private members of the derived class. That is the private members or the public members of the base class, these are the public members of the base class, that becomes the private members of the derived class, that is these become the private members of the derived class. Therefore the objects of D cannot access or direct access to the private members of B. So whenever there is a private declaration, that cannot be accessed directly to the public members of the class, that is the base class, right? Then this is the example that is shown, that is class D. Then there is a private section, that is the C, that is this is inherited from B. This is C, that is there is a private section, that is privately it is declared as a C because it is occupied each and every data, that is C, and this is inherited from B. Every data member that is inherited, that is a B, get A B, get A, show. These are the four members that is inherited from B. Then there is a public section. In public there are two member functions, that is a multiply and display. This is public, there are two member functions, that is a multiply and display. This is adding more members to a class, that is a public or that is a private derivation. So the statements such as D dot get AB, get AB is a private, so also D dot get A also get A, then D dot show A and show A will not work. Why? Because these functions can be used inside the multiply and the display function like the normal functions, because these are the parts of the or this is the category of the private derivation. So this will not work or this will not correct, that is used as a private data members. However, these functions can be used inside the mul, multiply and the display function like the normal function as shown below. So this is works like another member function and another data type that is used. So this works under the another member function. For example, void mul, that is a multiply, then get AB. Get AB is a function, then C equals to B into get A. That is a get AB function will be called inside the multiply. Then after that, there is a b into get a. Now the get a function will be occupied, that is multiplied by the b. So whatever the value of get a, that will be multiplied by the b, and the output is stored in the c. Then there is a closing of the multiply function. Then there is a display function. This is also using that the output value of the show a. That means these multiply and the display function are used like the normal function, and we can access any data member, any member function inside them. This is a single inheritance. This is a private declaration. This is the class B. Then there is a int a, that is a private, not inheritable. Then public, that is ready for inheritance, that is the int b, that is a b. Then there is a get ab, then there is a get a, then there is a show a. These are the member functions, and there is one data member, that is a public part. Then there is a class close, that is a closing curly braces, and there is a semicolon. Then there is a class D, that is a class D is a derivative class or the derived class, and then there is a single colon, and there is a private B. Then int C, then public, void multiply, void display. These are the two data members, that is a member function that is used. Then there is a scope resolution operator, there is a closing curly braces, and there is a semicolon. Then void B, then there is a scope resolution operator, then get AB void. That means this is the return type, and this is a base class, that is a B. Get AB is a function. This is a function that is used, that is a get AB. There is a void. Then C out, enter the values for A and B, that is entering the values for A and B. Then C in A, B, that is getting the values of A and B. Then int B, then get a function, that is one is a get B, one is a get a function that is used, that is the int B, that is a base class. Then get a function is used, then there is a return A. Then void B, show A, this is the show A function that is also used. Then C out, A equals to A. Then void D, then multiply, this is the multiply function, that is get AB is used. Then C equals to B into get A. That is why we are using the get AB, because C is not, or A is not directly accessible. These are the private members. So this can be accessible by using the get AB function. Then void D, display function, that is used to display, also uses for the output values of A. Then C out, B equals to this one, C equals to this one. Then there is a int main function. There is a D, that is a small d is a object of the base derived class, that is a capital D. Then D dot get AB, that won't work. D dot multiply, it works because this is like the normal function. Then display, it also works. Then D dot multiply, D dot display, there is a return 0. What is the output? Enter the values of A and B, that is a 5 and a 10. Then the C value is 50, that is a 10 into 5, 50. Again, enter the values of A and B, that is 12 and the 20, and the output is 240. Now suppose base class and the derived class define a function of the same name. That is, for example, if the base class and the derived class have a same name, or any function, any member function that have a same name. So what will happen when a derived class object invoke this function? That may be accessible by the base class, that may be accessible by the derived class. So what happened? What is the main object? In such cases, the derived class function supersedes the base class definition. That is, this will supersedes, or this will access the member function that is used. The base class function will be called only if the derived class does not redefine the function. Now let's see some practical part of the single inheritance. This is the next topic, that is how to make the private member inheritable. That is how to make the private member inheritable. So first of all, let's see or let's take some practical approach of the single inheritance. So let's see one program of single inheritance. So first of all, there is a header file. I'm so sorry. First of all, there is a header file that is used, that is a hash include stdi.h. So first of all, there is a header file that is included, that is a hash include. So first of all, I will write the comment. What is a program? This is a program that shows, so write a program to show single inheritance. Now there is a hash include iostream dot h, then hash include conio dot h, then there is a class that is defined. For example, there is a class that is b, then there is a then there is a curly braces start, then there is one private declaration that is int a, then there is a public declaration, then int b, then there is a void get a ab, then int get a, then there is a return type that is void, then there is a void show a void, this is also a declaration, then there is a closing of the class and there is a semicolon, then there is a class b that is used, then there is a public, then there is a b, then there is a closing starting curly braces, then there is one more declaration that is c, then there is a public member, again void mul, that is a multiply, then there is a void, then there is a void display, then there is a void. Now there is a closing of this class, that is a closing of this main, there is a semicolon after termination, then there is a definition of function, that is a get ab, then there is a void, then a equals to 5, that is given, then b equals to 10, then there is a closing curly braces of this one, then there is a int b, then again there is a get a function that is used, right, and then there is a closing curly braces of return a, then this is also closing, then there is a void b, then there is a scope resolution operator, then there is a show function, then there is a cout, then a equals to, then a, then there is a void d, Then there is a multiply. That is a multiply function. Then again, this is the definition of this one. Then there is a C equals to B into get A. Then this is a void D. Now there is a D. Again the display function is used. That is a void D. Then there is a display function. Then there is a C out. That is A equals to get A. Then C out B equals to B. Then C out C equals to then C. Now there is a int main function that is used. Then there is a object that is declared, that is a D. Then D dot get AB. Then D dot multiply, that is MUL. Then D dot show A. Then D dot display. Then again taking one value as a B, that is taking one value or stored in the B. Then again D dot multiply. Then again D dot display. Then there is a get ch. Then there is a return 0. Then there is a closing of this curly braces. Now if I compile this code, there is a 7 errors. Wow. Get CA is not a member of C. This is not get CA. This is a get A. Right. Now if I compile, there is a 6 error. D dot display is not a member of D. This is the void D. There is a scope resolution operator. Then there is a display function. It says that it is not a member of display function. Now let's see what is the display function. This is a display function. The spelling of the display is wrong over here. Now if I again execute this code, there is a 0 error. That means only one point wrong spelling can give the 6 errors. Then see, now what is the output? A equals to 5, A equals to 5, B equals to 10, then C equals to 50. A equals to 5, B equals to 20, C equals to 100. That is a 20 into 5, 10 into 5, that is a 100. That is 10 into 5 is 50 and 20 into 5 is 100. That is given below. Right. Now So this is iostream.h, then there is a hash include conio.h, then there is a class B, then there is a private declaration, that is a int b a, then there is a public declaration, that is a int b, then there is a three member function that is used, that is a get ab, get a, and the show a. Get ab is the simple function that is return value as a void, and there is no argument, then get a, then get show a. These are the three data members member function that is used. Then there is a closing of the class, and there is a closing of the semicolon. Right. Then so this is a base class, that is a class B. So this is the base class that is given, that is stored, that contains the one member data member, and there are three member function and one data member, that is a public part. Then there is a closing of the curly braces, that is a class B, and there is a semicolon. Then there is a class D, that is a derived class, that is derived from the B, that is a public B. Then there is a int C, that is a by default it is taken private member, that is a int C. Then there is a public, then void mul, that is the mul is the name of the function that is used, that is a void mul. Then there is a void, then void display, then there is a void, that is a multiply function, and the display function is from the base class, that is a B. So it is a new member function that is available in the class D. So class D can inherit all the properties of the B, as well as it take the member function, that is a multiply and the display. Then this will be closed, that is the class will be closed. Then void B, that is a void B means the name of the class, that is a definition of each and every function. First of all, it is a definition of get AB. It contains a value as a 5 and the 10, that is a contains a value as a 5 and the B contains a value as a 10. That is A is taking the value as a 5, B has taken the value as a 10. And then there is a int B, then there is a get A. Now this is the definition of get A, simply returns the value of A. Get AB stores the value of A and B, get A simply gives the value of A, that is a return A. Then there is a void B, then there is a show A, that is a void B means getting the value of B, then show A function simply shows the function with the help of the cout. So get AB gives the values to the A and B, get A function simply returns the A, show A function shows on the screen with the help of cout. Then multiply function simply multiplies the value of get A and the B. What is the value of get A? Normal B, normal A. So A into B is stored in the C. That is the multiplication of the B and the A is stored in the C variable. Then there is a display function that is also defined. Simply first of all defines, or first of all prints the value of A, B, C both. Value of A, that is given by the, that is taken by the get A, that is A value, then B value, then C value. What is the C value? That is multiplied by the A and the B. Then there is a int main function, that is a main function. Then there is an object that is declared, that is a small d, and the capital D is the name of the derived class, that is a D. Then small d, then access the data members with the help of the object, that is a d dot get AB, that is taking the values of A and B, that is a 5 and the 10 by this example. For example, this is a 5 and 10 because we already given as the 5 and the 10 over here, right? Now taking the value, then multiply the value by using the multiply function, that is a B into A, that is your 50. Then show A function simply shows the result, that is the show A function. This is the show A function simply shows the value of A. Then display function, that is used to display the values, that is getting the value, display the value by using cout, that is the A, B and C. Right, then d dot show A function and the d dot display function. Then d dot b equals to 20. Now the b value has been changed. Now again multiply. So now b value, a value remains the same, that is a 5, but the b value changes, that becomes a 20. Now 5 into 20, that becomes the 200. 5 into 20, that becomes a 100. Then display function is used to display the value, display the output, or display the result by using the cout functions. Then there is a get cs, there is a return 0. Now if I change the value here as a 5, and over here this is 5, and now I change the value over here, this is for example 10. If I change the value as a 10, now if I compile the code, if I compile the program, this is like this one, this is hodgepodge. So first of all use the clear screen for clearing the screen. Over here this is clear. Now if I compile this code, this is a equals to 5, b equals to 10, then c equals to 50. That is a contains the value 5, b contains the value 10, and c contains the value 50. That is the 10 and the 50, right? This is not used over here, I think. This is used over here. Now this is the value. First of all there is a 5, that is displaying the value of a, that is simply 5, display the value of a, that is 5, display the value of b, that is 5. So 5 into 5 is 25, that is stored in the C. Now the value of v will change. Now the value of v become 10 because I have specified the value as a 10. Then 5 into 10 is the 50. So this is the single inheritance example, that is how the data will be inherited by the multiple classes, that is inheritance. So I will save the data by the name of inheritance. So this is a single inheritance, so I will save by s underscore inheritance, inher. Right. This is saved. So how many, Larry, this program is clear to you? Okay, thanks Larry. So I will stop this class over here only because you are the single person who is attending the class. So I will take I will take this topic, that is how to make the private member inheritable, that is to use the protected mode. Till now we have studied about the private mode and the public mode, right? Now in the tomorrow's class we will study about the protected mode, that is how to use the protected mode. So if there is any doubt, you can ask the doubt. So that's all for today's session. Thank you so much, and bye bye.